Good morning, guys. MWUSA Season 4, Episode 237. It is Friday morning, and I'm leaving home a little bit later than I would like, especially on a Friday. Last night did not sleep well at all. My neck has been hurting so bad, and last night it kept getting worse and worse to the point that I was really alarmed that I was going to wake up this morning and not be able to move my neck at all. I put the normal stuff I would normally put on there that works instantly, and it just wasn't doing the job. And I used this natural stuff, and that worked really well, but only lasted for about 20 minutes. Finally got off to sleep at, I don't know what time it was, 2 o'clock or something like that. And this morning woke up, just barely was moving my neck. I was really worried that I wasn't going to be able to move it very well, and kind of eased into it a little bit, took a warm shower, and it's okay. I would say pain-wise, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's probably a 6 right now, but last night it was probably an 8. It was alarming last night because of the pain. Hopefully I feel a little bit better this afternoon as I go through my day. Last night also had a rough time with the kids. I got one kid that just does not want to do schoolwork, does not care about schoolwork. Very street-wise, street-smart kid, but does not want to do schoolwork. Probably the smartest kid I have, but very frustrating trying to help do math, and just would not do it. Scored in the top 4% or 3% in testing, but just refuses to do the work. So dealing with that right now, dealing with talking to teachers and principal and things like that, with getting ideas, but just not working out. So that's something that's been on my mind for a long time. Took away their phone today. Tonight we'll be taking away more things if we don't get the work done, and eventually they'll be sleeping on the floor, no bed, no stuff, wearing the same clothes every day, and having to wash their own clothes at night, because I'm not playing this game. So I'm going to keep taking things away until there's nothing left at all. Wash the clothes and put them right back on again, sleeping on the floor. No bed, no furniture, no stuff, no electronics, nothing. So that's the road that we're going down. So other kid that got the car, same thing. Late to school a lot of the times. So if you're late today, for the next week, you don't have a car. So we'll see what happens. I can see it on Life 360, and I can tell who's late and who's on time, and it shows me what time everybody arrived at each location, what their speed was along the way, and all that. So right now I'm seeing it's going to be another photo finish from what I'm seeing here on the map where the car is. Anyway, what's this podcast for? Advantage Play? Let's talk about Advantage Play. Right now we're heading out to the office later than I wanted. We're going to check in. We're going to go upstairs and move some things around, show that we were there. We're going to log into the network by having the laptop close to the building as I go upstairs. That will log me in and show that I was there. And then we're going to head out for the day. I do have a team meeting that at this point I will be halfway through my trip instead of at my destination by the time that the team meeting starts. So we'll have to pull over and do that, and then continue on and go from there. So yeah, that's what's going on. Weather-wise, it's extremely foggy this morning. And some of the places that I go are low-lying, and it would be really, really bad there. Sometimes you have to put your hazard lights on because it's so foggy there in the morning. Temperature right now is 56, and the high today is going to be 77. And we'll see what happens. I really feel like today is going to be a big breakout day, and tomorrow we'll be publishing Coaches episode 7. So look forward to putting that one out there for you. So that's what's going on right now, and I'll be back to update you soon. Alright guys, I am back and stopped by the office, got checked in, Now doing the old backtracking a little bit to get to our first casino. And in the meantime, I listened to Coach's episode 7, which will be released tomorrow, Saturday. And it's actually really interesting because he kind of does like a review of his last 5 years, because he just had his 5-year anniversary. And in January, I will have my 6-year anniversary. And boy, his first couple years, he did way better than I ever did my first couple years, because I was starting from zero, not understanding any of this stuff, not knowing any of this stuff, and he'd already been doing it for years. And when you stop and you listen to the numbers and how much work he puts into it, how many days per year, and how much money he made throughout that period, you see how dedicated he is. He comes out as like a soft-spoken, just an average guy, which he's definitely not average, but he's a great guy, very intelligent guy, but he doesn't like to toot his own horn, and but he does amazing stuff, and he does his research, and he works hard, and he keeps spreadsheets, and he's definitely a model for anybody who wants to be an AP. He stays under the radar, but every day he's out there taking money from the casinos. Now, that will be released on Saturday, and then Sunday we will have our normal Sunday episode, and then Monday there are going to be 2 episodes, my Monday episode and also my big episode, where we're going to go through some things that have happened in the last few years and go over some numbers and stuff as well, because there's a big milestone there as well. I'm not going to tell you what Coach's milestone is, but it's incredible, is what I'll tell you. So we'll be going through that. So look for that. Right now, heading to my first casino. Meeting starts in 2 hours, and then casino 2 hours later. So 2:15 later. So yeah, that's what's going on right now, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I am back about 15 minutes away from our first stop here, getting excited. Had my team meeting, which, is a team meeting. I hung in there for about the first 25 minutes or so, and then after that I'm like, this is going nowhere. They're not going to call on me for anything else. So I just started driving from there and got about 20 miles down the road before they kind of called things off. So I was able to pick up some time there. Right now, like I said, we're getting close. What a gorgeous day. Clear skies, like completely clear skies right now. Temperature 70, and over here in this area it's going to be about 75 for the high. So just a wonderful day. I want to try to push things a little bit today, try to make a little extra money today. We'll see what happens with that. Hopefully we have a good couple of sessions right away. Then we can take a break, play some Pot Limit Omaha, then come back and play again, and we'll see how that goes. But would love to make 2,000 today. I think that's a very reasonable number, and we're going to try to make at least 2,000 today. So, yep, getting close. I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. So, had a pretty long day already. I was in there for 3 hours and 45 minutes, doing everything I could to make some money. Played tables first, and actually I didn't record how long I was at the table. I think it was like 35 to 45 minutes. The low for the session was minus 400. The high for the session was plus 680, and I left plus 680. So then I went over to the poker room and put myself on the list, and there were 5 people on the list and 5 people that had called in. So if you're on the list because you called in, and then someone new comes in, and live, they go under you if the table opens up and you're not there, they would go. But if you get to the casino before the table opens up, you're above that person, even though you called in on the phone. So that's probably standard procedure everywhere. But so I went from 5th to 6th to 7th to 8th, and I was around 8th, and that table was 8 people, Pot Limit Omaha. Checked back 5 or 6 times, and ended up having a voucher that I needed to cash. So I told this guy, hey, I'm going to go cash this voucher. I'll be right back. I go to cash the voucher. I come back and I see another play. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I cashed that voucher for nothing. Played that play, ended up ahead like $21. And then I walked into the poker room and they had already started a game. Luckily, they didn't have a full table, and I was able to sit down. I had $1,200 in chips, and bought in for $300 at a time. And I like doing that. If you have, let's say I have $1,580 in chips, I'll just cash part of it out and have $1,200 left, and then I'll buy in the poker room for $300 at a time on the 3-3 pot limit game. And first hand was the bomb pot for the new table, and 4 of us lost our whole stack on it. So that was a huge hand. This guy won like a $2,500 hand on the first hand. And again, I'm saying I'm learning. I'm not great, but I'm learning. So lots of times people will be like, man, you would have won that hand. You should have done this. And I'm like taking notes and trying to understand why I did the wrong thing and try to improve myself. So I'm not above any of that stuff. I know that I don't know. So I'm willing to learn. So I'll give you an example of a hand that I had. I had ace 6, 7, 8 with 3 hearts, including the ace. And it was 5, and then someone raised it to 25. I just called. Then someone made it whatever, 80, 100, whatever, and then someone else potted that, so it was like $200-$300, and I folded. Now everyone's saying, why would you fold that hand? I fold that hand because I'm inexperienced. The flop came 4, 5, 5, and of course I've got 6, 7, 8. So any 6, 7, or 8, I win. So it came 4, 5, 5. The turn was a 6, so I'd have the nut straight, but I don't have the full house, which most people aren't going to have the full house. And then the river was a 6, so I had 6, 7, 8. It was 4, 5, 5, 6, 6. So I would have ended up with 3 6s because you have to use 2 cards out of your hand, or a straight. So it would have been a straight. And with all that all in, I would have won the hand, but instead this other guy won like $1,800 hand, and a guy at the table was giving me a real hard time about that one. And there was a bomb pot hand also he was giving me a hard time about, because I was open-ended on the flop, and this other guy had a gut shot, and it checked all the way through. But I had raised pre-flop because I was double suited, I had a nice hand, I had an ace high. So he's like, when that happens and you have a possible hand coming, you got to pot it again, and I didn't do that. And instead of this other guy winning the hand, I would have won the hand. So, and that would have been like $2,000 hand. But I don't know any better. So I lost the first 300. I lost the second 300. Third 300, I hung around about even, up 80 or 100, down 20, somewhere in there for a long time. And then eventually I had a couple nice hands. I had one hand where there's 3 different cards I could get for a total of, I don't know, 9 or 10 cards probably, that would have given me a straight. So I had 3 different draws for a straight, and I hit it on the river, and I had the nut straight, and I didn't go all in. I was already in for like $350, $400, but I didn't go all in for my last little bit, like $60, which I should have done. Another mistake. And the guy would have called. He told me he would have called because he was in for so much. He couldn't not call. He had a set. So these are the kind of things I'm talking about, but overall ended up doing okay. Ended up the session ahead $318. And then I looked up and I'm like, then we had a bomb pot on the next hand. And I folded it. I looked up and a friend of mine was standing there and I'm like, thank God he's there because I want to get out of here. So I ended up getting up 318. But I had a good excuse. Oh, there you are. I'm coming, and walked away. Cashed out my chips. I talked to him for a little while, talking shop, talking about the old days and how things were, and all these different games that are beatable that nobody really knew about, and all these different people that he knew and how they beat these games. And I'm like, well, I have this theory, but it's just a theory, and I don't want to tell anybody because they're going to think I'm stupid. And he's like, no, I mean, I'm not going to think that because I've seen some crazy stuff, and I had this theory about this game, and it's totally random, allegedly, but I don't believe it's random. I believe it's random to a certain point, but that there are outcomes that are predictable. And although I can't cut it down from 100% of the outcomes to a certain outcome, I could probably cut it down from 100% to like 70 or 80% of the outcomes. But the amount of work that it's going to take to do that could be just ridiculous. It could be hundreds of hours, thousands of hours of work to do that. But imagine figuring something out like that. Let's say it's something you can cut it down from 100% to 70% of the outcomes. And you can account for that in your math. Now, instead of the house having 5, 10, 15% advantage, now you have 15, 20, 25% advantage. And who would you tell about that? The answer is going to have to be nobody. Because if you tell someone about it, they're going to tell 10 people, it's going to get beat up in one day and it's going to be over. So anyway, ended up playing one more thing before I left and ended up ahead another $162. So 162, 480, and 680 is 1160. So we're up 1160 right now. I talked to my wife a few minutes ago, and the guy had just come out for the cabinets to do the measure and stuff. And she's still changing stuff around, moving the refrigerator, moving the oven. She's like, well, this is a gas oven. What if we move it from this part of the kitchen to this part of the kitchen? How much work would that take? And I'm like, everything's possible for the right amount of money. And we do have a basement under it, so it is possible to move those pipes. But, are you ever going to move it back? Because we already went from electric for that stove to gas, so we left the electric there in case she changed her mind again. So we have electric and gas right there, and she wants to move it. So anyway, yeah, I mean, so many things are on my mind that are so complex, and I really need to start. I guess I'm doing everything I can. I'm taking pictures. I'm trying to do the math. I'm doing spreadsheets. What I think I need to do, though, well, I have an idea of what I can do to get more information about some things. It would involve a little bit of trickeration, also called dishonesty, but there may be a way for me to get more information from the makers of the game that may make it easier. I'm not talking about just like a slot machine where you can just get a sheet on it. I'm talking about the creators of an actual game, not like a slot game. You heard and we talked about this today, James Grosjean had a table game that was based off of a different table game, but instead of using one thing, okay, well, I'll tell you what it was. In that case, it had to do with cards and craps in that case. And they actually used cards to figure out the crap outcome, and he figured out how to take advantage of that and won a fortune before they stopped that game. So this is something like that, where it's a table game, but it's played a little bit differently. When I went to California, you'll recall that there was roulette tables that actually had cards, because roulette was illegal. So they had a roulette wheel, and they spun the wheel, and they spun this little thing, this pointer, and wherever it stopped, then they picked up the card, and the card told you the outcome. So whenever you do stuff like that, you open yourself up a little bit, because now there's all different dynamics. Instead of a ball bouncing around, now you've got a lever, which, will it go around 50 times? Will it go around twice? Is each dealer going to spin it differently? Is it going to go around exactly 1.5 times for this dealer because they've done it so many times? Where is it starting? Where could it end up? Is there a way to tell which cards are there? So many different things go through your mind, and it seems like it's impossible. But then if you start breaking it down into smaller problems, then it's solvable. I'm not saying that one's solvable. I don't think it is necessarily, but it could be. Maybe the dealer put the card in last time and it's up just a little bit. It's tilted just a little bit, so you know what's there. And somehow you know the order. I mean, there's so many things. And just like when you have a complicated thing in life that you're doing and you're overwhelmed, what I do is I get out a spreadsheet and I write down all my problems, and I write down steps to fix those problems one at a time, and then I put them in order from most important to least important, from hardest to easiest, from easiest to hardest, whatever it might be. And then I figure out a plan. I say, this month I'm doing this month I'm doing this, and I tackle all my problems. But if I kept it all in my mind and didn't keep track of it that way, then I'd be so overwhelmed all the time I'd never do it, because I'd be overwhelmed by the task and never actually work on it. So anyway, I'm gonna grab something to eat from this place. I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I am back. I am stuck in traffic right now. I have no clue what's going on up ahead. A lot of people are exiting. I did not put it in my maps to see. Maybe I should have exited there. Let's see. Let's click on this. And I got my sunroof open, which is nice. Moonroof. Let's see here. Come on, baby. Yeah, it's alright. Looks like, yeah, it looks like it's going to clear up here any second. So, should be, oh no, it's not. Let's see, how much of a delay? Probably 15 minutes, no big deal. We can handle that. So, everything is good. We are going to continue on our trip here. Just relaxing right now. Thinking back about the week. Thinking about that bad day I had. I mean, it wasn't even that bad of a day, but just trying to focus on every little thing and overanalyze everything and see where we can get better. So, anyway, right now, enjoying the sunshine, doing 0 miles an hour on the highway, the moonroof open, and I'll be back. Alright guys, I am back, and I was getting ready to do my segments, and just want to reiterate here, I know that I'm winning right now, I'm doing well right now, things are working right now, but honestly, emotionally, I couldn't feel more awful right now, because the way that it's working out, and the things that I have to do, and always being worried and looking over my shoulder, it is just not enjoyable at all. So, just to paint the picture here, the sun is setting on my way home. Almost clear skies, few clouds in the sky, light breeze right now, really pretty day. And we spent the day in the car. We spent the day driving. We spent the day in the casino, and we made a little bit of money, but that day is gone. It'll never be back. So we're looking forward to better ways to make more money, and just be more secure overall and happy and all that kind of stuff. For some reason, episode 1000 sticks in my head as maybe the last episode we do. I don't know why. Just because I have a feeling that if some of these other things come through, I probably won't be able to talk about them, and there'll be nothing on the podcast anymore. So we'll see. Right now, 77 degrees as we're heading home. Let's do a quick rundown. What did you eat today, MW? I had a few pieces, 4 pieces, chicken breast, some vegetables. All that was good. What did you tip today, MW? Today I tipped around $4, maybe $5. $1 for each hand that I won in Pot Limit Omaha. And what did you learn today, MW? I actually learned that this other casino, one of the ones that I'm not supposed to go into anymore, and I was planning on going back to soon, just started IDing people as well. So even if they don't know my name, I'm not going there because I don't want them having my ID. So that's 2 casinos close to each other that I don't think know my name, but I can't go to because now they ID everybody. So yeah, very unfortunate, but that's what I learned today. So right now we're going to head home, going to hang out with the family. I'll catch up with you on Sunday. Look for Coach's episode tomorrow. If you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.